What's up, y'all? Candy Girl here with my 2 cents on our favorite president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, and what I believe are the chances that we can get this man impeached. Or if we can't get him impeached, do you think, or do I think, that he would actually be reelected? This is an entirely political process. And when I say that, I mean that not only is it something that only our representatives and our senators can do? We have to think about what are they motivated by. And right now, this is a majority Republican ruled or Republican governed Congress. So even though he's doing all this other mess, in the end of the day, if their underlying agenda is being served, which I think Republicans are mostly motivated by their constituency. Now, when I say constituency, I'm not talking about voters like you and I, because we only have $1 and one vote most of the time. We're not coming with $20 million telling him, I want you to make sure that this happens in Congress. I want you to make sure that you are sending this message to the people. We don't have that kind of power. We don't have $20 million. We also don't have 5,000, 50,000 employees that depend upon my business staying up and running. Okay? So when you've got all of these voters who are going to say, I want a politician that's going to keep me employed, because I'm in a certain industry that depends on certain legislative agendas being served. And I also think about the buying power that we have. I only have $50,000, not even $50,000 a year that I can spend on the economy, while other people with billions of dollars that have donations they can give. Those are the people that the politicians are really representing, because those are the people that are going to keep them employed. Representative Al Green from Texas already put something on the floor just a couple weeks ago about impeaching President Trump. It was an article of impeachment that he announced on the House floor, and that article died in a matter of hours. Okay. The grounds for impeachment for him were that his political objectives and comments are rooted in white supremacy, sexism, bigotry, hatred, xenophobia, race baiting, and racism. He encouraged law enforcement as well as employers to violate people's civil rights. We have to remember that, he did make statements on the news and at rallies and things like that, saying that if you pull somebody over, don't be too nice to them. What do you think that means when we have Black Lives Matter going on? That's his stance. You know what I'm saying? When white supremacists and white nationalists are protesting, he says that these are good people. But when black people protest, it's all about these thugs and these animals and get them out of here and all that kind of stuff. It's just like the things that you say are encouraging law enforcement to violate people's civil rights. Okay. Not only that, but he tries to influence employers to violate their employees' civil rights. Think about the comment that he made about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem. That's encouraging people to suspend employees or fire employees who, pursuant to their First Amendment right, peacefully protest violations of civil rights. When you are in opposition to a violation of someone's civil rights, you are protected under the law. And for anybody to retaliate against you for doing that, that is unlawful. And he's encouraging people to do that. So actually, that's illegal, and that's under 18 U.S.C. Section 227. And that would be the strongest grounds for impeachment. Honestly, just because you're racist or a bigot or grounded in white supremacy, that does not necessarily mean that you're doing something unlawful. Although, he even said those things in a public forum, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can prove that he actually influenced employment decisions of private entities. Because think about it this way. Just because I said it doesn't mean that you have to follow that. So there has to be some evidence of some kind of action, or some kind of statement that somebody said, like, I'm doing this in the name of Trump because he told me blah, blah, blah on such and such date. No, you have to have somebody stupid enough to make that statement to actually find him guilty of something that would impeach him. So please believe that his defense counsel is going to come out with that information, and it's probably not going to pass Senate, because mind you have to have a 2/3 majority vote in Senate to actually impeach him. The statements saying that these people need to be fired or suspended, all of the unlawful acts of racism and bigotry that employers and law enforcement made, that was before he made these statements. People have been doing this for centuries. So you can't prove that anything was caused by him. He's just a reflection of what some people do in this country. Another thing that the subscriber made a comment on was that, looking back, George W. Bush was not such a bad president after all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I totally feel him on that. Bush, he just gave a speech. I don't remember for what event it was, but he gave a speech and he was basically ragging on Trump. He didn't use Trump's name, but the things that he said, it was like he was disgusted with Trump. And he made a lot of references to Trump's actions and how he feels about it, and how this hatred and acts of divisiveness and things like that are, killing us. And it's putting us at a greater danger for civil unrest as well as international conflict because of the things that are going on in our country. And it's so crazy that he would say that now, because he seemed like the biggest cowboy of them all with this whole Bin Laden thing. And now all of a sudden he's talking about racism and how it's wrong, and people in power doing this and that, and he doesn't agree with it. We need to see the God in each other. We look at them, and we look at other groups of people by their worst examples while judging our own selves by our best intentions. I was like, you better preach, President Bush. I'm feeling that right now, and I'm thinking, like, where were you at when you was president? Because this was not the Bush that I knew, okay? But I think that once, he got out of office, he felt like he could say what he really felt, and he could do what he really wanted to do, which was to spread the message that this is not the way that we need to be acting. Same thing with Obama. Obama, I hate to say it, but, even when he was running for president, he never brought up the fact that he was black. And I think it was because he didn't want people saying that he was using his race to win the election. And also, he wanted to be looked at as Barack Obama, not the black dude. You know what I'm saying? But in the process of that, you got to think about, if you're a member of my race and my community and you know my experience firsthand, yet he did nothing legislatively speaking or politically speaking to advance colored people and minorities. He just didn't do it. And he never voiced his distaste and disappointment in the criminal justice system and police brutality and incarceration rates for blacks and just all of the inequalities in the world. But then all of a sudden, as soon as he got reelected, he became much more vocal about his feelings on constitutional law and how it's applied to different groups of people. That leads me to believe that maybe this is not the real Trump. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's getting his, strings pulled by somebody else in the background. The people that are giving him the $20 million and the hundreds of thousands of employees who are going to vote for him because they want to keep their jobs. You know what I'm saying? I believe that he's probably a really cool, down-to-earth guy, but he's led by his constituency, but he's also a big business owner, and he wants certain things to be done so that once he leaves, everything's laid out nice and pretty for him so he can keep on getting money and not paying taxes. And I'm going to say this about the re-election, then I'm going to let you go. Some tells me he might get reelected. And the reason why is because I didn't even think he was going to get elected in the first place. I thought he was just playing. When he came out and said he was running for president, I thought it was a joke. I thought he was trying to get attention because a new season of The Apprentice was coming out or something. I really thought that he wasn't serious. And then all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, he going to the debate? What he gonna say? And then he went up there and acted a fool. And so I'm thinking, nobody's going to take this man seriously. He's not going to win. And then all of a sudden he wins the primaries, and then he is elected, and I'm like, what country do I live in? Did I miss something? I could have sworn that this was not going to get this far. So I wouldn't be surprised if they surprised me again by re-electing him, to be honest with you, because I didn't think he was going to get that far. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that too. Until next time, you all, love and blessings.